Let's take another look at all things binge-worthy. Once again, Mr. Binge TV Guru is going to give us a list to discuss. You can catch him here on Al in the Afternoon and on Binge-worthy TV Guru on Facebook.
I love it, Mr. Binge. Thank you, Lewis. Mr. Binge is on with us, Mr. Binge TV Guru on Facebook. You watch late night comedies, late night talk shows, and like the old Johnny Carson, fabulous comedy to it. You go, God, he's got a lot of great writers and that sort of thing. Mr. Binge must have a bunch of writers back in the office with him. The list you're coming out with, I'm so excited about this list. It's not even funny. I love the people. Everyone's going to know these people. It's going to bring back some memories. Who's coming up with it? Is it your ma? Who's coming up with these great lists?
I spend, as you know, Al, I spend 40, now almost 50 hours a week working on my list for Al in the Afternoon. Mom does help because Mom brings me sandwiches, keeps me hydrated and water so I can keep hydrated to keep on setting this up because this is important to form these lists so we can entertain the masses. That's what my purpose is here, Al.
Who would Lewis be without ADHD or OCD? I don't know which one you got, but this is a great list. Explain to us what we've got this list. What is the list?
As we've often heard when Johnny Carson was doing the Tonight Show, that he made or broke comedians. When someone did a good job on there and he invited them over to the couch, it was a big deal because that was an endorsement from Johnny Carson that they did a good job. And it's amazing how many people that are now household names got their start, or early start at least, on Johnny Carson. And so I was looking through some. Ma and I were watching some over New Year's, and we were amazed at who appeared on their first appearance a lot of times on Johnny Carson's show. So I put the list together.
I love this list. We're going to go through it. Here's what I like about Johnny. And again, you're a certain age, you even remember Johnny Carson. As folks now, probably Jay Leno is probably the earliest kid. But Johnny Carson was the best at what he did, and he had to have folks. He wasn't going out and finding these comedians. They had to be somebody who could say, "Oh, look at this guy. You never heard of him, but he's fantastic," and bring him on Johnny. And Johnny said, "Okay." It was life-changing for these guys, gals, to get on this program.
Well, and I'm sure you've heard this story before that they had scouts that would go to these clubs representing the Tonight Show, and then go back and say, "We got to look up this guy. This guy's amazing," and it made their careers because these, including the people we're going to show today. These people were just playing little clubs in small towns, or maybe not even small towns.
Yeah, and making their 40 or 50 bucks making 40, 50 bucks if they were there. Yeah, it is amazing the list that came down. Let's start with it. Let's get our first one in. It is the first appearances on the Tonight Show. Comedians. Here they are.
Steve Martin is on the show tonight. If you haven't seen Steve work before, it's difficult to explain exactly what he does. It's usually something a little bit strange. He'll be appearing in concert with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and Eric Weisberg at New York's Town Hall on March 9th. And I haven't the slightest idea what he has prepared tonight, but we'll find out. Would you welcome Steve Martin?
Thank you very much. I don't deserve this. Well, hi, folks. Can I take your order? Actually, while I'm out here tonight, I've been doing a lot of TV shows lately, like Tonight Show, and Big Deals, and I begin to realize that in order to succeed in television, you have to appeal to everybody, from the garbage collector right on down to the business executive. And I realize that there's one group I'm just not appealing to. In fact, very few people have even tried to appeal to them. Dogs. Now, a lot of dogs watch TV, and there's nothing really on that they can enjoy, maybe a couple of dog food commercials, and that's it, So I took it upon myself, and I worked up a comedy act for dogs. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but I did the act for my dog, and he went into hysterics. And he went and got some of the neighbor dogs, and I did the act for them. And they were on the floor, rolling with doggy laughter. Now, the weird thing is, you have to sort of take...
You can't do the whole bit. But Steve Martin, being on that show, I mean, who doesn't know Steve Martin is kind of the point, right? I mean, he is.
And this one's a little different than most because he had some degree of success before he was on the first time. So this was just a smidgen difference, even though this is his first appearance on Carson, which cemented his status in the industry. But this guy is odd.
Can you imagine the self-confidence it takes to go on Johnny Carson, which can make or break your entire thing, and come out in the first minute, no one is laughing. Can I take your order? You got a suit on. It's like this. Then I'm going to go into I did a comedy routine for dogs. I got to think even Carson's like, what in the heck is this guy doing? This is national TV. And he pulls it off. The crowd loved it. And, he was amazing. Steve Martin is what he was. But the kahunas to sit there and say, I'm going to go out and do my dog jokes. What are you talking about?
They have to be sold and convinced that they are onto something in order to go out and do their bits. It fascinates me with every comedian. I can't even fathom having enough guts to go out there and do something unique and different, not having a clue whether it'd be successful or not.
Exactly. And then with Martin, and he was a fabulous comedian. Love Steve Martin. Some of his movies, the comedian movies, I liked very much. He got into some regular acting later. I don't think he was horrible at it, but it was like, I'm not sure why he was doing it. Maybe he got too old for comedy. Kids weren't following him. I don't know. I thought the trail end of his career where he's at now and trying to do leading man stuff doesn't.
Yeah, I don't care for that either, but he is doing some on the road stuff with Martin Short, where they do a 2-person act, and the two of them together, I think, would be hysterical.
Yeah, that would be worth watching.
It's a comedy routine, absolutely.
Let's take your second one here, because again, talk about making a guy's entire career. Here's another comedian from Johnny Carson.
I'm glad that you're all in a good mood tonight because it's always a pleasure to introduce a new comedian to The Tonight Show. This young man's name is Jay Leno, and this is his first appearance on The Tonight Show. Later this year, he's going to make his film debut in The Silver Bears with Michael Caine, which is not bad. Would you welcome, please, Jay Leno? Jay?
Thank you. I'm originally from the United States. Any United States people here tonight? It's a small world. Isn't that funny, no matter where you're from? I've been out of California for about 4 or 5 months. I just got back, and I notice now, when you call directory assistance here, you get a recorded message. If you're unable to find the number in your directory, please stay on the line, and operator will assist. Called the weather today. Have you looked outside? You reading about the weather back east? What's been happening in Buffalo and Pittsburgh? Yeah. All right. That'll back me up. It's the same man who talks to the television at home. Look out, Kojak. Thanks, viewer.
Jay Leno. I don't know. I mean, Johnny Carson could not look far enough ahead to realize he was going to take his job.
No, and I watched this whole thing with Leno, and I didn't think it was very funny. But in comparison, I'm not a huge fan, but I think he's done some good stuff throughout his career. But he definitely, you're right. Johnny Carson wouldn't have any idea. This is the guy that will take my show for 20 years.
Well, and again, I've always been kind of a Leno fan. I thought he was, I didn't think this was the funniest bits he ever did, but I thought he's a relatively funny guy. I thought he did a very nice job. I mean, you're taking over for Johnny Carson.
Absolutely.
I mean, that seat, you can't fill that seat. And I don't think he tried necessarily to be Johnny Carson. He was just going to be himself doing it. I enjoyed that's probably the last time I've enjoyed a late night talk show is with Johnny Carson or with Jay Leno.
Non-political. It was straightforward, just him attempting to be funny. And he was pretty good with the guests, and they seemed to have some good chemistry. So I'm with you on that.
I mean, I would maybe say Letterman, early Letterman, I enjoyed as well. But now we're talking, once you get into about the 80s, early 90s, is like, I can't handle it anymore because it got too political. Yeah. I thought, again, I go with Jay Leno. I thought he did a nice job. Let's go to break. I like the next two because I actually watching them as comedians, I never thought they'd do much for themselves. But let's talk about them coming up. We've got them. It's Lewis, Mr. Binge, TV Guru, an hour in the afternoon. Side note, I still know we're on Facebook.
Yes.
That person I introduced you to having cigars is going to bring up your stuff with Facebook tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
All right.
Awesome. That's great news. Thank you.
Back out in 30.
Stop talking to the radio. Call Al in the afternoon. 507-497-2777.
Binge, these next two are funny because I actually thought interesting comedians when I first heard them never would have put money on that they'd ever be anything other than a comedian. I'm excited about this. What we're talking about is comedians that went on Johnny Carson, got the nod, got to sit down next to Johnny, and made a living. And Mr. Binge put together a list. This is a good list. You ready for the next one?
You bet.
All right, here it is.
Here's a young comedian from New York City. He's making his first appearance on The Tonight Show. He's going to be at the Bananas in Poughkeepsie, New York next weekend, November 22nd, 23rd. And he'll be at the Comedy Stop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the 2nd of December through the 9th. This is his first time. Would you welcome Ray Romano?
Thank you very much. Very nice. This is very exciting for me. The first time here on the West Coast. I just got here yesterday with my wife. We spent the whole day shopping, of course. She wants to buy a car phone now, my wife, for no apparent reason. She wants a car phone. People are just a little too phone obsessed now, don't you think? Oh, cars, planes, little pocket phones. You know what they're going to do? Sooner or later, they're going to make a phone into a little microchip that everyone will just have surgically implanted in their ear. And that'll be the end of it. Wherever you go. Oh, I'm going to call one second. Oh, hi, Joe. How are you? What's up? Good. Yeah, how are you? Oh, my other one. I got to put you on hold. Billy. Hi, Bill. How are you? Yeah. Talk to Joe. Here, I'll put you on conference. Got to talk to each other. Yeah, how are you guys? What's up? Well, hold on, guys. I'm getting a fax. One second.
When I first saw Ray Romano, I thought, okay, he's funny, he's more topical, more of, I'm just a guy, and look at me looking at the world a little different. I liked him, but there's no way in the world I thought he'd pull off a TV show for as long as he did.
I think you're right with that. And what's interesting with that too is on his TV show, he does his act continuously. Yep. I mean, he is the character he is in his stand-up completely. He doesn't vary from it at all. And that's a compliment because he does that so well.
I say it's a compliment in that, yes, he can pull that off. But if he didn't have the cast and crew with him around him to make that work, I think that show dies in the first season.
Oh, absolutely.
It isn't thick enough. His character wasn't thick enough. It's all the others, the big lurchy brother and the dad who was crazy. All the rest of that made that work in my book.
I'm with you. But because he played his own act over and over and over to very well.
But he wouldn't be the only one. Jerry Seinfeld has done things like that. Others have done it. Here's the one, and I get in so much trouble with it. I have no doubt that the bear, if he's listening, is going to get on me on this one. I have no real time for this guy. I thought he was semi-funny as a comedian, but after that, really?
My next guest is named Louis Anderson. He's a comedian. He's making his first appearance on national television, and he's going to be opening tomorrow night in Las Vegas, the new Comedy Store at the Dunes Hotel, and he'll be there Sunday night. Would you welcome, please, Louis Anderson.
I can't stay long. I'm in between meals, so bear with me. I was just at McDonald's and all those statistics just changed. So. I went shopping today. What's this? One size fits all stuff. Being in California, being fat, and try to get into this California life. Went to the beach the other day. Every time I'd lay down, people would push me back into the water.
Yeah, Binge, I get it. He a very large man, fat humor. I mean, he makes the best of that situation, I guess. But it's so self-deprecating all the time. Okay, I could watch it one time, laugh, and I'd be done with it. I didn't see him getting to host the Family Feud. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see him having that depth.
Early on in his career, I thought he could be really funny. But now when I see him in more recent years, including when he's doing talk shows and different things, he just seems sad.
Yeah.
He just seems sad. And I mean that not even badly. It seems like he's a sad man, and he comes across that way. So I don't enjoy his humor anymore because I don't think he is humorous anymore. So I'm sorry to your friend that's a big fan, but he did warrant going over to Johnny's desk in the early days because he was unique and humorous in that way.
Oh, absolutely. No, and again, I think he was a very funny guy, but you can only take "I'm a fat guy" joke for so long, and it's like, okay, I got that. Can you do something else for me? And he built that character, and that's who he was. And the fact that he, again, got to do Family Feud or whatever, I was just stunned that it went anywhere other than that.
They were desperate.
Yeah, okay.
They needed the host with a name, and he is a household name. Almost everybody knows his name. And they offered him a pile of money, and he did it. So that's all I think it was for both sides, personally.
Well, and again, I don't begrudge him for making a good living. He's a Minnesota guy. I'm not trying to be mean to him for that reason. I Ray Romano, I didn't think had the depth to make that work. He got lucky with the casting. Him, Jay Leno, fantastic. I'm a big Steve Martin fan, but I look at the rest of your list because we can't do another one. But let's highlight when it come up next week. Ellen DeGeneres comes out of this thing. I mean, that's huge. Jerry Seinfeld. We talked about that. Talk about a guy who did an entire stand-up about nothing, and then did a TV show on it. Actually, did a show on his TV show about the fact that he was trying to pitch a show about nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Maybe the fact that it's about nothing. His stand-up, his old stand-up, is still as hysterical today as it was then because it is about nothing. So it still works. Probably the most amazing person on this list, in my opinion.
Well, and again, back to, I don't know. You've got Robin Williams coming, Eddie Murphy. A lot of these have done some pretty well. My point with Seinfeld is the exact same with Ray Romano. He had the persona, he did that, and he made a TV show around it. And I don't think it flies if he didn't have that same cast around it. I think Kramer and Julie, what's her name? What was her? Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep.
And I'm going to forget what George's name was, but that cast made that happen. That you could do a show about nothing and they could pull it off.
I agree with it, but I think different than when we were talking about Ray Romano. I think Jerry, even with another cast, would have made that funny. Okay. I think he would have carried it. He was a bigger central character than the other was on that other show, because he is definitely funny on there, where Ray Romano wasn't the funniest person on that show at all.
No, you're absolutely right. He was more the stand-up guy that everything revolved around, and you just, but anyway, we are completely out of time. Louis, great list. Can't wait to hit some of those up, and we've got a couple of weeks worth. This is a good list. We'll talk more about it next week. Fantastic job, my boy.
Absolutely, and because I've already put in my 50 hours and you like it so much, I'm going to take the next 2 days off.
You go ahead. You and Ma go visit. Go have a vacation of some sort. But I appreciate you being on, my friend.
It was fun. Thanks.
That's Louis, Mr. Binge TV Guru. Catch him on Facebook. This is Al in the Afternoon.